Do you love chocolate chip cookies? I am a cookie monster. I love cookies and I love really well baked cookies. And we are going to try different preparations to figure out what is the best way to bake chocolate chip cookies. There are so many different cookie recipes out there, and I have my favorite. I think we all probably have our favorite, and I am really curious though, how is the best way to prepare them, store them, bake them? I have seen that you put in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. I've seen put in the refrigerator for 24 hours. I've seen 48 hours. I've just seen a whole bunch of different ways to prepare cookies. I have followed several different people on different social media platforms that bake cookies different ways. I've seen you rest the dough for 30 minutes. I've seen you rest the dough for 30 minutes in the refrigerator. I've seen people cure the dough for 24 hours or 48 hours. And I've seen people just pop the cookies in the oven right as soon as the dough is made. So I'm going to test all of those out over the next couple of days to see what is really the best. And then I'm going to try them, and maybe I can recruit family and friends to try them along with me. So first off, we need to get into our recipe. So I have a favorite chocolate chip cookie recipe that uses brown butter. Now I know everybody does brown butter, and that's great. It's wonderful. It really gives your cookies a nutty flavor. So I really enjoy the brown butter. So just really quickly, let's go over what my recipe is. So I do 2 sticks of butter on the stove and I brown them. Then I'm going to pour that into my bowl, and I'm going to add about a heaping tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of just stick butter into that hot brown butter. And that does 2 things. One, it replaces a little bit of the volume, because when you brown your butter, you lose a lot of water. And also, it helps kind of, I think, emulsify the butter a little bit, because I'm going to let my brown butter sit on the counter until it's kind of solidifies again, because I don't want to throw all of my ingredients into my hot butter. One, I don't want scrambled eggs, but 2, I think that it gives it a better texture, a final cookie texture, when you let your butter kind of re-solidify. So that's what I do. I let my butter re-solidify. And then it's just the very, very standard cookie recipe. I use a whole cup of brown sugar though, and half a cup of white sugar. I like that better because I just think it gives the cookies a little bit better chew. And then of course you do your 2 eggs at room temperature. I try at least to make sure they're room temperature. Vanilla, measure as much as you want. A little bit of salt, I do about half a teaspoon of salt, because I do use salted butter. And I think you need a little bit of salt even with salted butter. And then I will do 2 1/4 cups of flour. And if I think I need a little bit more, I will add up to another 1/4 cup. I know some recipes say 2 1/2, and I think that's too much. I want to do it by feel. And I will then add 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And then you stir just till it's combined. And of course you add in your chocolate chips. Now sometimes I'll add my chocolate chips in before everything is fully combined. I just think that you aren't working the dough as much when you do that. And I like a mixture of my chocolate. I like milk chocolate and I like dark chocolate, because milk chocolate can be awfully sweet. So if I do half a bag of milk and half a bag of dark, and I also like different textures. So the dark chocolate often can be like a square, or you can get a dark chocolate bar and just cut it up. And I think that just gives my cookies just a little bit of a different feel. So let's get into what we are doing with this cookie. So I'm doing different preparations. I'm going to I'm making my cookie dough a couple days ahead, and I am going to I'm going to roll out 6 balls of cookies and put it in a bag, and I'm going to write 24. That is going to go sit in my refrigerator for 24 hours, and then I'm going to throw it in the freezer. And then I'm going to write 48. So same thing, I'm going to let my dough sit in the refrigerator for 48 hours, and then I'm going to throw it in the freezer. But because I'm curious, I'm going to just throw some cookie dough in the freezer right away. I'm not going to let it sit in the refrigerator. I'll let it sit in the freezer, and it'll, sit in there for a little while, and then it'll freeze, obviously. So that is it for the day 1 escapades. So now we have day 2, and day 2 I'm making the exact same batch of cookies, exact dough, exact method, exact everything, even the exact chocolate. And I'm going to do a couple different preparations. So I'm going to put some of this cookie dough straight into the oven right out of the bowl, and set on the counter for maybe 15 minutes, and in the oven it's going to go. And then I'm going to pop my bowl into the refrigerator. I'm going to let it sit in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to bake those. So I have 5 different preparations, and we are going to bake all of those up all at the exact same day on the exact same cookie sheet in my 350-degree oven, and we are going to see how the texture and is the taste any different, and anything else that we come across. We're just gonna figure all that out. Okay, so for this section we have a special guest, my friend Charmaine. She came over to test the cookies. So we're going to rate them. So I have 5 different preparations, and we are going to rate them on texture and overall favorite. Okay, you ready to try some cookies? I am. All right, and so I've numbered the cookies, the plates, and on the bottom of the plate I have the preparation thing, but I've just randomly labeled them so we have an idea of so we can do numbers. Anyway, all right. So this is plate number 1, just a random number.
It definitely looks good.
Okay, it's a good cookie.
Soft.
They were all baked at the exact same temperature. They were all baked this morning. They all have the exact same recipe, but just different chilling times.
This is soft and it's buttery. It's very good.
Yeah, I do brown butter. So I take the butter, put it on the stovetop, and then brown it. And then I let it kind of solidify again. I let it cool and it solidifies again, and then I use it. So it's not. So this is number 2. They all should be about the same size, but we know that doesn't exactly happen.
I can tell this one's a little...
There's a different texture.
I can tell already.
Yeah.
A little tougher.
No, crispier, not really tough.
Okay.
It's tougher?
It's different. It has a different texture. It has more of a crunch.
Yeah, it does.
Now I will say, this is very satisfying.
The crunch?
And the flavor, since I can't have peanuts, this is very satisfying. It almost has a nutty flavor to it.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting, because like exact same recipe, all 5 preparations, exact recipe.
Something different about this one.
Exact same recipe.
No, I'm just saying.
Right. And I even have the recipe. So when I have the recipe, one went immediately into the freezer and one went in the refrigerator and sat for 24 hours and then went in the freezer.
This is dangerous. That's good.
Okay.
That's very good.
So that was number 2. So this is plate number 3.
That was really good. Okay. No. Okay.
No? They were all cooked for 13 minutes. They were all in the same oven. They were all in the same temperature. I didn't turn the oven off, so, you know, all I had equal.
But it's not as satisfying as the second one.
Okay.
So whatever method was used for that one, it's not as good as number 2.
Okay, so this is number 4.
Cool. Got all those chips in there.
I use the exact same chips. In fact, I opened the bag and I put half, because I use 2 different chips. I use the chunk and then the chocolate chip, and I used half the bag in either, and use the exact same, you know, the other half of the bag in the next batch. So.
Well, the process also. Wow. Okay. So the technique also had a effect on how the chocolate chips melt. So this one is just wants to go.
That's the most juicy. Not juicy. And this is number 5, the 5th one.
Now I can tell, however, this technique was done. They got browner. On
Yeah,
the
they
bottom.
did.
It's also drier. Very dry. It's moist, but it's dry.
I think it almost tastes burnt. But I did 13 minutes. 13 minutes, and then I let it sit on the pan for just a couple minutes more. And then I took them right off and put them on the plate.
Well, that technique would not be my favorite.
Interesting, because those all were baked exactly the same way. So you have your favorite?
Yes.
Number 2?
Yes, number 2 was by far
Okay,
my favorite.
so number 2. Oh, wow, okay, I'm surprised. So number 2, after I made the dough, I immediately put it in the freezer. It didn't sit in the refrigerator at all. It just went immediately in the freezer.
Huh. Well, I like that. I like that a lot.
Interesting. So what was your least favorite? The last one, number 5? So number 5 was in the refrigerator for 30 minutes.
I don't like that one. I didn't like it. Looks good, but
Yeah, it's a little bit more pretty, or chocolate chip cookie looking maybe, because it's, I don't know, just has more of that cookie flavor or cookie look.
yeah, it has a perfect look, but just doesn't have the taste or the texture.
Huh.
Yes.
Okay, what was your next favorite?
Number 1.
Number 1. So this is number 1, right? Yeah. Number 1 was, I have no rest. So that means immediately went from the bowl to the oven.
Oh.
No, I just have whatever time it took me to like get the oven to temperature or whatever. So that didn't rest at all.
Interesting. Okay.
And they do also again kind of have that perfect cookie
Yes, it's very
look.
light. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So then the other 2, which was 3 and 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see any difference between 3 and 4?
3 just had a completely different taste and texture. It was my second least favorite.
So number 3 was in the refrigerator for 24 hours, and then I put them in the freezer.
Oh. No, don't do that again.
I don't understand. Yeah, that's so weird. And then number 4 was your 3rd favorite?
Yes.
So number 4 sat in the refrigerator for 48 hours.
How weird. Okay, so if it was in the fridge for 24, I didn't like it. But if it stayed in there for 2 days, I liked it. If it went straight to the freezer, it was better. Okay. Interesting. All the same cook time, all the same ingredients.
Yep.
Just different techniques.
Yep.
Yeah, the freezer was definitely the best.
And the freezer and the freezer, the immediate freezer, the 24 and the 48 hour were all the exact same batch. I took that one batch and separated it into 3 sections.
No, but there's definitely a difference. So straight to the freezer, absolutely perfect.
Huh. Okay. That's just funny. That's good. That's good to know. What a day. Everybody's tried the cookies. My friend tried them. My son tried them. I tried them. And almost unanimous was the second dish. And number 2 was the cookies that I immediately put in the freezer. So I made the dough, balled them up, and threw them in the freezer. And I don't know how long it takes to freeze, about 30 minutes. So maybe it was about 30 minutes or so and before it was fully frozen. But that had the crispiness that everybody was looking for, and the inside was still, soft. And the chocolate chips, oddly enough, the chocolate chips were still like good measure throughout the cookie. So that was the favorite. The second favorite was the cookies that we sat in for 24 hours before we threw in the freezer. They weren't quite as crispy, which is weird because again, everything got the same baking sheet, temperature, everything, but was probably our second favorite. And again, the good distribution of the chocolate, throughout the cookie, a good bake, everything else. 24 hours was my friend's least favorite. We don't know why, but for some reason, the 24-hour cookie was just not as luscious. The texture was different. The texture was off. It wasn't as satisfying. That my son thought the one that had no rest whatsoever, that was mixed in the bowl and thrown in the oven, he thought that one had the worst texture. He wasn't a fan of that one. And then the one that sat in the refrigerator for 30 minutes before it was baked, that was okay. That was kind of in the middle of the pack. It was good, just not great. And the 30-minute cookie, the cookie that was thrown into the refrigerator and sat there for 30 minutes before it was baked, all of the chocolate chips were on the bottom, which was really odd. It was odd. It didn't have a really good distribution of chocolate. So we don't know how that happened, but it did. So anyway, thank you so much for coming to my kitchen and my dining room table to talk about chocolate chip cookies. And I would love to know how you bake your cookies, what recipe you use for your absolute best chocolate chip cookies, and what is your absolute favorite baking time. So have a fantastic afternoon, week, month, whatever you're doing. I hope you enjoy your family, your friends, or just your cat. I would love for you to come back to my dining room table where we sit down and tell each other the truth. Thank you all very much, and I would love if you would subscribe and give this a like, leave a comment below, and let's figure out what we're going to do next.